Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel Codeline. As discussed in the previous video about functions, today we are going to discuss more about functions. Types of functions. The functions can be classified into four categories based on arguments and return value. First, function with no arguments and no return value, function with no arguments and a return value, function with argument and no return value, and last, function with arguments and a return value. Function with no argument and no return value. When a function has no argument, it does not receive any data from calling function. And similarly, when it does not return a value, the calling function does not receive any data from the called function. Here is the syntax for it. In this example, the function func is called by main and the function definition is returned by main function. As the function has no arguments, main cannot return any data to the function. Since it has no return statement, hence function cannot return any value to the main. So basically there is no communication between called function and the calling function. Since there is no return value, these type of functions cannot be used as an operand in expressions. Function with no argument and a return value. These types of function do not receive any arguments but they can return a value. Sometimes there could be an occasion where we want to design a function that may not take any argument but returns a value to the calling function. So here is an example for it. You can have a look. In this, function is returning a value but it is not receiving any argument. Functions with arguments and no return value. These type of functions have arguments, hence the calling function can send data to the called function, but the called function cannot return any value. When a function argument receives any data from the calling function, but it returns no value. So these functions can be written in this format. Here, A and B are the actual parameters which are used for sending the values and C and D are the formal parameters which accept the values from the actual parameters. Function with arguments and a return value. These type of functions have arguments, so the calling function can send data to the called function. It can also return any value to the calling function using return statement. This can be written in this format. Here, the function is called and also returning a value using function func. Main function. Main function in C is treated as same as every other function. It has a return type, but the only difference is it is called by the operating system when the user runs the program. There is can be only one main function in a program. Local, global, and static variables. Local variables that are defined within the bodies, global variables that are defined outside any function, and all the function can access and modify global variables. Static variables that are declared by writing keyword statics in front of the declaration. Recursion. Recursion is the process of repeating items in a self-similar way. The C programming language supports recursion, that is, function to call itself. But while using recursion, programmers need to carefully define an exit condition from the function. Otherwise, it will go on an infinite loop. Recursion is a powerful technique of writing complicated algorithms in an easy way. Advantages and disadvantages of recursion. The use of recursion makes the code more compact and elegant, but the code written in recursion is less efficient since recursion is a slow process. But it simplifies the logic and hence make the program easier to understand. A non-recursive solution increases performance while a recursive solution is simpler.